You have one choice, boy. Sex or the saw. Sex is, well, nobody knows. But the saw is family.
This is the Horrible Film School. Take a seat and rip open those Trapper Keepers. I'm Chris, and I'm here with the dude, Mr. Ryan Hootie.
What's up, fellas? It is blistering hot outside, which means only one thing. The buzz is back, baby.
Sweaty balls. And the best butcher this side of the Mississippi, Mr. Nasty, a.k.a. my brother, Joey.
What up, what up? It's all about the meat. You can't skimp on the meat.
Can't skimp on the motherfucking meat.
Man, we in the dog days of summer right now. Fuck this shit. I'm literally walking around. I have Gold Bond powder in both pockets at all times because I got to keep this thing dry.
You gotta have it like under like all kinds of body parts that touch each other. I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
So you're Dennis Hopper from this movie, just without chainsaws.
My titty meat. I got to pick my titty meat up and throw some Gold Bond in that thing.
Oh yeah, that's like a moisture closet under the titty meat.
I could literally harvest like mushrooms right now.
We could put truffles. Get some truffles from that.
All right, today's assignment is 1986's The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Part 2. Today's lesson: the small businessman always gets it in the ass.
Hey, Mr. Sawyer knows what he's talking about.
Before we get into this, I had a question for you boys. Something I was thinking about before we started recording. Is a taco a sandwich?
Oh fuck! This is going into like hot dog.
This is
hot
like
dog
physics.
A sandwich territory.
Is a hot dog a sandwich? It's
How
the
do you
physics
even,
of it, right?
How do you even have an argument about this?
What do you mean? How do you have a fucking argument about this?
It's
I
not
would
a
say
sandwich.
I would say a taco is a hot dog, but is a hot dog a sandwich?
A taco was a hot
A
dog.
hot dog is a sandwich, right? It's just turned the wrong way.
A taco is a hot dog.
Like a burrito is not a sandwich, right? That's
Is a
obvious.
bratwurst a hot dog? Okay, let's just
Is a taco a sandwich?
I would say
What
that
would it be if it wasn't a sandwich? Is it its own category?
It's a wrap.
It doesn't touch
But it's
that.
not wrapped. It's a taco.
The burrito is wrapped.
It's not a burrito. A burrito is wrapped.
It's an open face wrapped.
I would consider a
Sandwich?
burrito a dumpling.
Burrito is not a dumpling. A dumpling has to be fried, right?
No, dumplings can be steamed. Dumplings can be served anyway. I like mine steamed.
But they have to be sealed.
Chicken and dumplings.
You can have like an
a
open
taco. A burrito is sealed.
You can have like an open end of the burrito though.
No.
Yeah,
you
what if
can't?
if you do
What
the
kind of burritos are you eating where the ends
Yeah,
are
it
already
should-
bit
it
off?
If I do my
They
own,
should
you
be
wrap
What
the
the
burrito
fuck are you talking
and you
about?
just
Are they
fold the
biting
one
it?
side.
What do you do? You go to the Mexican restaurant? Yeah, I need an 80% burrito.
Look up a
They
picture of
just,
a
like, bite the
burrito, bro.
fucking
It's
end.
gonna have like half of it open so you can see what's inside.
Yeah, so you can see what's in there. They don't serve it to you open.
When I'm gonna eat it, I want to like be appetized before I eat it, so I'll leave mine half open.
I'm just picturing Chris making a burrito, leaving one end open, and he's like squeezing it and sucking out the top of
Yeah,
it.
man.
I know.
I
No,
love a
you
wrap,
know what
dog.
you know what his hipster ass does? He just cuts them in half and takes a picture of them and puts them on fucking Instagram.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Like
Yes.
that one dude. Who's that guy with like the super elegant photograph food that he cooks? Babish.
Oh,
Cooking
Bobby
with
Flay?
Babish.
That dude's like a great chef, and his YouTube
That's my
videos are
dude,
like
man.
it's like artistically displayed food.
He does like pop culture references.
Yeah, he does like SpongeBob
food.
fucking sandwiches, like Krabby
Yeah,
Patties.
he did
and shit.
the fat burger. The fuck was that dude? The Bass Burger, the Fat Billy Boy Bass. What the fuck was his name from SpongeBob? The Bass Burger. I can't think of the
I
character's
just know
name.
the Krabby Patty.
That's all
It's
I
the
know.
one where the guy hides the pickles under his tongue
You get
and like
beat.
deceives Mr.
We're talking about
Krabs.
plankton?
No. We're talking about Billy Boy Bass or some shit.
If the audience can help us out here by figuring this out,
If there are any other
so-
12-year-olds out there who just fucking are into the SpongeBob lore,
Google this.
you're not Googling this on my airtime, bro.
I literally type SpongeBob Bass. Guess what? Bubble Bass.
All right, so is a taco sandwich? Let's just get it answered here. We need votes. We got 3 people. We got a tiebreaker. Is a taco a sandwich?
I'm gonna go with taco's a hot dog.
God damn it.
I'm
You just
so
voided the
confused by that
question.
answer.
But yeah, all right. Well, all right. The question is it a sandwich? If it's not a sandwich, what is it?
Wait, if a taco is a hot dog, then why do you tilt your head to eat a taco, but not a hot dog?
I tilt my head to eat a hot dog.
No, you don't.
What are you fucking just take your neck and dislocate
Wait,
like
wait.
a goddamn bird?
You eat a hot dog
or
like
some
this?
shit, just suck it down.
I just slide the wiener
What
right
you do?
down.
Dislocate your jaw like a goddamn python?
Well, you tilt your head to
Fucking
eat a hot
suck it.
dog?
Yes.
That's
If you
weird.
get like a big bratwurst with a lot of shit on top, sauerkraut and stuff, you gotta tilt.
I mean, you tilt the dog.
Yeah,
you tilt the dog, but you don't tilt your fucking
You
head.
ain't.
Like,
You
I'm not
ain't
gonna
eat
eat a
that hot
taco
dog
like
like you're
this.
sucking a dick. I swear to God. I'm doing the mental fucking look at this. You're eating a hot dog like this, Chris. Is this how you eat your hot dog like this?
I don't put two hands on it, personally.
Hey,
You got like knuckles on top of the dog.
hey, you gotta encase.
I don't touch the top
You
of the
gotta
dog at any
encase
point.
all the toppings. I don't want the toppings hit the floor.
I'm not a big
No, you
hot
turn your
dog
head
guy
when you eat
anyway,
it.
so
God damn.
God, I love hot dogs.
taco is a fucking sandwich. End of story.
I'm gonna vote against, but okay.
All right, we have one yay, one nay, and one hot dog. That's Joy's answer to every fucking
the
question for the rest of this episode. Hot
It's a hot dog. Hot dog.
Hot dog.
Damn, I want a hot dog now. Shit.
All right, this was homework for all of us, mandatory. And the random dice just happened to land on Mr. Joseph as a host.
Hit him with the snake eyes.
It just had to be you for this one, man.
Had to be me, baby. Let's go ahead and let's get into it. Couple of IMDb reviews. That's all I seem to use nowadays. First one, let's go with the positive one. Took place on November of 2022 by a guy under the username TerraTrain90, titled one of the greatest horror comedies ever made. This movie is horror comedy gold. It's been criminally underrated and misunderstood. It was intentionally designed to be the tonal and stylistic opposite of the first Texas Chainsaw film. Accepted on its own terms, this movie is near perfect. The sets are massively inventive. The performances, particularly Mosley in his career-making performance as Chop Top, are unforgettable. Savini's gore effects are some of his best work. There are several laugh-out-loud moments, as well as at least one of the best jump scares in horror. Tobe Hooper set out to make a comedy and nailed it. Ignore the doubters and enjoy.
I thought it was a pretty good review. I mean, I feel like this movie gets a lot of shit.
Oh, this is... I mean, we've said it time and time again on here. Divisive. Yeah, that's this movie.
Comedy is just a tough sell, especially when you're doing satire.
Yeah, but it appeals to so many people. But that's it. I guess it appeals to more people, but it also it turns a lot of people off. All right, back on the wagon here. Got a negative review. These are always fun. From Colin 833-72549. I don't know fucking why he put his phone number in there. From October of 2010. Not funny, not scary, completely irredeemable. This putrid offering doesn't deserve a review of any substantial length. Usually I would say a sequel to any memorable film is worth a viewing just to see where it went or even how bad it was. Not in this case. This one is the absolute bottom of the barrel and goes below so bad it's good into so bad I wish I was dead.
Jesus.
The glowing reviews floating around must seriously be some kind of campaign by people who profit from some DVD sales and rentals. Other than maybe Highlander 2, I have never seen another sequel that so completely lost every aspect of what was good about the original. The gore in this is laughable. The jokes are not. The murderous family isn't the least bit scary, plus they now have Gallagher's sense of humor. The acting is rancid from start to finish. Screw this crap. I'm out. Any of you guys seen Highlander 2?
I have no memory of it.
I've never seen Highlander 1.
I was going to say I don't even remember that. I
Just
know
seen, commercials on TNT. But that's about it.
That really handsome guy from Mortal Kombat who played Raiden.
Yeah, he looks like.
That was him.
Kind of looks
he
like
was
Thomas
in-
Jane.
That's how I always thought Thomas Jane was Highlander when I was a kid.
He looks just like
He
him. Now that
wasn't.
I think about it. I know you're talking about though.
All right, let's talk about some of the directors / crew members. In my opinion, not really much to talk about. It'd be kind of like a retread of what we did for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Outside of a quick mention of Tom Savini, he's back at it again, doing what he does best.
Patron saint of the pod.
That's it. Toby Hooper, he directed once again. He directed Poltergeist, a few other things. Newt Arnold was brought on by Cannon Films as second unit director to ensure the production on Massacre 2 would go swiftly and smoothly after filming was declared to be overlong. Arnold would go on to direct one of my favorite films 2 years later, Bloodsport.
Fuck yeah.
Can you guys imagine Frank Dukes versus fucking Leatherface?
But if you Dukes, I can think Jean-Claude would have fit well in this franchise.
You break my record, now I break you, like I break your friend.
I think that might have been done by Cannon as well as this film. Cannon had a run there for a little bit. They did Cobra as well.
Yeah, I've heard like the two big producers attached to that company or whatever were like pretty invasive. Like they would butcher people's movies after the fact.
Oh, Cannon was like horrible for this movie. They made him cut like a shit ton of time off.
Yeah, like a chop
and
shop.
They would literally like 1 week if their other movies were doing well, they would give them more of a budget, and then they would take away
for that
money
week
for the next week if it was doing bad, and it was all over the place.
Probably the only actor of any note that we're going to mention here. We're not going to go into him, but just something about him. Mr. Dennis Hopper thought this was the worst movie he had ever been in. He later said the same thing about the Super Mario Brothers from 1993.
Dude played King Koopa in that movie.
Yeah, it's one of those, I'm never going to watch that. You, if I remember correctly, tried to traumatize your nephew by exposing him to that recently.
I think we got 10 minutes into it and he realized
this
ain't like the animated shit.
If a 4-year-old realizes how duty it is in 10 minutes.
Not for me.
I remember watching that the Mario Brothers movie because it come on HBO all the time. I feel like back in the day, and I watched it a lot. I wouldn't say I enjoyed it; it was just always on.
Yeah.
See, the only thing that would get me to watch the movie is John Leguizamo. I've always had like I like watching John Leguizamo in movies.
Like Dennis Hopper saying this is his worst film of his career, and also with Mario Brothers. I do not like Dennis Hopper.
I took a glance at his filmography because he's been in a lot of really great movies, but he's been in a lot of fucking movies. I'm sure there's probably some real doo-doo under here he doesn't want to. He never did admit to. So
he likes to make money.
He'd been making movies pretty much his whole life. He got started young.
Basically, Cannon would give and take money from the budget depending on how their other films were doing at the box office. Films such as Sylvester Stallone's Cobra. So if that would have had a good week, Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 had a good week. If it had a bad week, well, Toby,
cutting you short this week.
And Hooper consciously concentrated on the black comedy element of the film as he felt that it had been overlooked in the original film. And I pose to you fellas, at what fucking point of the first film was there black comedy?
It's tough, man. It's all...
I don't know where he thought it was cut from.
It's one of my biggest qualms with all this. In my opinion,
there was like sadistic humor involved, especially in the dinner scene of the first movie. You just have to see it from a
psychotic
that kind of
point
shit
of
funny.
view.
Yeah, I mean that's why it's called black comedy. It's why it's called morbid humor, I guess is what you would call it.
Yeah, it's a tough sell, and I think kind of like we were saying, this is his like response to people who didn't get what he was really going for with the first one. That he kind of just cranked it up to 11 here and tried to make a big joke out of it. I still really don't. And even knowing what I know, it's hard to find it in that first movie. The terror is just on another level. It overshadows the rest of it.
Even that dinner scene, it's so hot and sweaty and just gross that the comedy doesn't.
The way they cut it with her screaming pretty much the whole time, it's rough.
Oh, that was brutal. I forgot about that.
All right, we can use that whole morbid thing right there to segue into my next fact, and it's super fucking morbid. Yeah, the actor who played LG, Lou Perryman, was actually murdered in 2009 with a fucking axe.
Jesus.
How crazy is that shit? Yeah, LG.
That's awful.
Was it like a random thing, or was this like a
this
passion?
dude who had gotten out of prison apparently was off his meds, guy named Christopher Tatum.
Jesus.
Oh, it's a straight Bill Goldberg Santa Claus situation.
What the fuck?
Remember when Bill Goldberg?
Fuck no, I don't remember that. I need to hear about this.
You
What is
remember
this?
when?
You remember when?
Is this a skit on WWE or something?
No, there was a movie to where Bill Goldberg. No, I'm thinking of the Tales from the Crypt Santa Claus episode.
Was it
Where
Santa's
the guy
Sleigh?
breaks out of
Was that
prison?
the Goldberg movie?
Santa's Sleigh was Goldberg, yes. But there was a Tales from the Crypt episode where a guy breaks out of prison, steals a Santa Claus outfit, and then breaks into somebody's house and kills a lady with an axe. But he was like,
Isn't that like the whole like Silent Night, Deadly
Silent
Night
Night, Deadly Night, yeah. I think it was like either a Catholic school or a psychiatric ward, some shit like that.
I think it was either Catholic school or an insane asylum.
Something like that. Shit, I don't remember that movie.
Yeah, that's the way the guy goes out. That's horrible.
So yeah, on a brighter note, let's get away from that. Bill Moseley was able to score his role as Chop Top, due in part to a short parody film he created titled The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where he himself played the role of the hitchhiker. The short eventually found its way to Tobe Hooper, who loved it and kept him in mind for a part if he were to ever make a sequel.
So I guess he saw the comedy in the first one if he made a damn parody of it, you know?
Yeah, I think the actor, Bill Moseley, I mean, we've seen him in roles for, like, what, Rob Zombie? Like, I guess that's
Rob's
where
boy, right? Otis.
Yeah, he fucking loves him. And that's all about, like, dark humor, you know?
I recently watched a new Nick Cage movie set in, I think it's Bangkok something.
Bangkok Dangerous?
No, I know that one, but there's a new movie where Nick Cage
Is he
goes
in that? I'm just fucking word pasta right
That was
there.
one of the Mullet Cage movies.
back across the Pacific, and Bill Moseley was like the bad guy, and he did a great job. It's an awful movie, but he was fantastic. One more thing. This movie was made on a $4 million budget. It only made back $8 million.
Yeah, that's pretty
That's
disappointing.
fucking brutal.
Well, it's one of those things of, I guess, the original did so well, and they were handed the keys to the castle, I guess, in terms of, you know, the budget in comparison to, like, what it cost to make Texas Chainsaw Massacre 1. So, yeah, I guess you can say this kind of shit the bed. All right, boys, let's do this thing. Let's hop into Texas Chainsaw Massacre Part 2.
Hey there, folks. Sorry to take you from a show filled with those ghosts and ghouls. We at the Horror Bowl Film School have opened up a merch store with everything you will need to rep the show as you enjoy the warm summer months ahead. We have everything from tank tops to those sweet, sweet koozies to help you show off your favorite horror podcast. Head on over to horrorbowlfilmschool.com and click on the heart in the top right of the page. Grab something for yourself or let your loved one show off the podcast as well.
Dog wheel hunt! Get that bitch, Leatherface! Get that bitch! Dog wheel hunt!
On the afternoon of August 18th, 1973, 5 young people in a Volkswagen van ran out of gas on a farm road in South Texas. 4 of them were never seen again. The next morning, the one survivor, Sally Hardesty Onright, was picked up on a roadside, blood-caked and screaming murder. Sally said she had broken out of a window in hell. The girl babbled a mad tale, a cannibal family in an isolated farmhouse, chainsawed fingers and bones, her brother, her friends hacked up for barbecue, chairs made of human skeletons. Then she sank into catatonia. It's catatonia.
I think that's Catatonia.
Catatonia.
Catatonia. A
Texas
cat named Tanya.
lawmen. Texas lawmen mounted a month-long manhunt, but could not locate the macabre farmhouse. They could find no killers and no victims, no facts, no crime. Officially, on the records, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre never happened. But during the last 13 years, over and over again, reports of bizarre, grisly chainsaw mass murders have persisted all over the state of Texas. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre has not stopped. It haunts Texas. It seems to have no end. Good God, that hurt my fucking throat. So yeah, in Texas Chainsaw fashion, Massacre 2 opens with the rolling exposition, unfortunately voiced by someone other than John Larroquette. I actually couldn't find who voiced the opening monologue. In summary, we learned that no one has been apprehended for the murders from the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but during the last 13 years, there are continued reports of grisly, bizarre chainsaw murders persisting across the state of Texas.
Can we talk about how, and I hate to throw shade, but how bad are the police officers of this town to where they can't even find a fucking house?
Yeah, pretty shitty.
I mean, and it's not like it's that difficult, man.
Again, I think you kind of, when we talked about this being a comedy and a satire, this kind of, these characters that are acting this way are parodies of like the real world, I think, according to Toby Hooper. I don't think he has much respect for authority and law enforcement.
Yeah, we can just go ahead and debunk this whole thing of there's no way they couldn't find the fucking house. Like, they actually ran a goddamn business, a barbecue business that paid taxes that had to be tied to a location. There's no way they couldn't have found the house.
Yeah, I think the point is they didn't care to find it.
They'd rather go watch OU in Texas, baby. Hook 'em horns, baby. Woo!
Chili cook-off, man. We got to find out who has the best chili. And you remember in the first film, Franklin was sucking on that damn chili dog in his little wheelchair.
Boy, he had that sausage in his mouth like the entire movie. A couple of obnoxious gun-toting college boys on the way to the Red River Showdown in Dallas harassed local DJ named Stretch via a dope-ass 80s car phone, as well as running a patriotic local with a U.S. flag-bearing truck off the road. The character apparently has an actual name, Benita Brock, but is known as Stretch throughout the entire movie. Played by Carolyn Williams of Days of Thunder fame. We'll actually be seeing her next March. She plays the role of Loretta from Leprechaun 3.
Oh, shit.
Ooh.
God, I remember her. The Vegas one.
Oh,
right?
yeah, trust me. You remember, she's one of the best, most memorable parts of that movie.
I can say in her, she was recently in Renfield with Nick Cage, to bring back up Nick Cage.
Shit, you watched that?
I did not. I just saw it in her credits. She's got a lot of work done that she didn't need to have done. So,
Oh, yeah, on her IMDb page. Yeah, she looks like a fucking monster.
yeah, sad. That's sad case there.
Cruel.
Also, they didn't want to bring it up, but she's kind of in a cameo role as a doctor in that Rob Zombie shitfest Halloween 2.
Yes.
Did he just love this movie? Apparently, Rob loves it.
He loves Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That's
Franchise,
his.
right?
That's the movie he wants to remake, but I don't think he has been allowed to. Later that night, the duo dial up Stretch for another shit-talking session, just as they run into that very same truck from earlier, ambushed on a bridge. And guess who these unlucky assholes run into? It's our old pal, Leatherface. Following the most ridiculous chase scene in the history of chase scenes, Leather somehow manages to slice our boy Buzz clear through his skull, leaving the car careening off the road, and Rick the Prick's fate sealed. The phone line back at K. Okla Red River radio station goes silent.
Can we talk about this car chase? I'm glad that you brought up how unrealistic it was.
Oh yeah, it was fucking insane.
Because the frat boys are in what has to be like a BMW. And this old redneck truck is like a 50s Ford pickup truck. It's in reverse and keeping up with the BMW.
Yeah, driving perfectly straight too.
How long is that bridge?
Yeah, the bridge kept going.
They're on that
didn't
bridge
think
for
about
like 5 minutes.
Oh shit. That's the thing, that they're college boys too. Didn't even think to match the brakes for like 2 seconds. Could
Right.
have totally avoided this entire situation.
Well, the guy's got all funny glasses. You know.
Did we even talk about how annoying these guys were?
Oh, yeah, they were caricatures of like 80s douchebags.
How out of place did this opening feel for what you came into this movie expecting? You see Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. You don't look at the poster. Don't look at the movie poster. The movie poster looks like the goddamn Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
You hear Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, and it starts with this.
I was just really thankful that these were not going to be like our protagonists. 'Cause for a few minutes, I thought they were, and I was like, this is going to be dog shit.
This is going to be an hour and a half of me being fucking miserable.
Right.
Because these guys were annoying.
I would say I wasn't shocked by it because the first Texas Chainsaw that I saw was the McConaughey one, and that movie is goofy as hell.
Yeah.
That's
it was
considered like
bonkers.
the worst one, I think. But
I could see why.
I like McConaughey in that. I think McConaughey is fucking great in that shit.
And I don't know old school technology, maybe you two do, but why was it the case when you called into a radio station, they couldn't hang up on you?
Yeah, I couldn't figure that bit out either. I just kind of came to accept it as fact halfway through the scene.
Landlines, if the other person doesn't hang up, you can't get on the phone. You're stuck on that.
Why would you have callers?
I think that's a thing. I fucking swear I remember, like, somebody would call me, I would answer the phone, hang it up, and then pick it up to call somebody else, and if they were still on the
connection is
line,
never
it would not
terminated.
let you dial. Yeah.
See how quickly we forget how shit used to work.
Well, look, if that's the case, these are the worst. These are the most shit tier radio jockeys. If they can't disconnect a fucking call.
What you guys think about Leatherface in the back of that truck? I couldn't tell what the fuck was going on for a few minutes.
Oh, him dancing with Nubbins.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fucking great, bro. That shit was so funny.
They put that corpse through some shit.
This iteration of Leatherface. I said Leatherhead. This iteration of Leatherface loves to dance.
Oh my god!
Yeah, that fucking when we get there, that fucking chainsaw dance, boy, that shit was funny as hell. He's not really that menacing. I guess he's menacing sure when he's got a fucking chainsaw out above his fucking head. But when he starts doing the goddamn Egyptian dance and shit with it, that ain't doing him any favors.
I think it's the continuity between this and the first one that just kind of, it's a really jagged transition, I guess.
Or of a little bit of a deeper thought, which is rare by me, I understand. But it's been 13 years, and he's gone through the 70s, and he's about gone halfway through the 80s. He's seen a lot of pop culture happen.
They do listen to a lot of music, too.
A lot of music. He's like trying to be cool and hip. Leatherface has really grown.
We need moonwalking Leatherface. That's what I want.
The next morning, former Texas Ranger Lieutenant Lefty Einright, uncle of Sally and Franklin Hardesty, picks through the wreckage from the night before. It's here that Lefty strikes a deal with the local authorities to not cause a panic about a possible chainsaw killer in exchange for any witness testimony to last night's events. Soon after, at Lefty's hotel, Stretch arrives, having read about the accident in the local paper, and presents the ranger with a copy of last night's conversation with the drivers. But being the jaded loner that he is, Lefty tosses the woman out on her ass and her evidence with it. It says, Chris talked about it a little bit earlier, Dennis Hopper plays the role of Lefty Einright. King Koopa from Super Mario Brothers, Master Bomb Maker Howard Payne from Speed, Deacon from Waterworld. He's been in other shit, but that's all the stuff I care about.
Yeah, probably best known as the director, one of the stars of Easy Rider, which kind of brought like drug culture to the main front and all the hippie stuff. It's a pretty big deal, especially for independent films. He's got a bit part in Apocalypse Now, which is great, but I have Speed, ! Because that was my first and probably most definitive experience with Mr. Hopper. Definitely has a fucking intensity to him.
Was he in Cool Hand Luke?
I don't recall him in Cool Hand Luke. And I would be remiss because I've been on a David Lynch kick for the past 2 years. He's in Blue Velvet and considered some of his best work. Comes out the same year as this. Check him out in that movie. He is fucking psycho.
See, Joy, he just had to pull out some,
Some artsy-fartsy shit.
some high-level shit like that.
Blue Velvet, check it out.
I had a note that he was in George A. Romero's Land of the Dead. Pretty good film. Well, I'm sure we'll cover it at some point, but
Is that the one with John Leguizamo?
yes, it is.
I like that movie.
Yeah.
It's only because John Leguizamo's in it. The movie fucking sucks.
George was trying, all right?
Oh, shit. He's just running out of fucking ideas at this point. They're over here grunting at each other. They know, oh, man, yeah, my zombie wants to fuck that other zombie. You can tell. So, unable to lend a helping hand and more so make a name for herself as a witness, Stretch meets up with her Radio Tech LG at the Texas-Oklahoma Chili Cook-Off, just in time to discover this year's winner, local favorite and barbecue pitmaster, Drayton Sawyer. It's the meat! Don't skip on the meat!
This fucking dude. I cracked up when he walked out. I was like, this is the perfect. If you had to keep anybody from the first one and they reveal, him walking out in that chili contest just had me fucking roll it.
Look, he's only in like 6 movies as an actor. Like, if 2 out of the 6 are Texas Chainsaw movies, you're doing all right.
I can't tell if he's even acting. This dude seems like this is like who the fuck he is.
That's who he is, yeah, right?
Him standing there holding the trophy with chili just running down of his shirt. Blah.
The girl goes to eat some of the fucking chili and she picks out a fingernail. He's like, oh shit, that's a damn peppercorn.
Oh, that's one of those really hard peppercorns.
So this dude's name was Jim Sidow.
Jim Sidow. Or Sidow,
butchered.
Sidow.
Butcher names. He was in the video game Red Alert, which I played the shit out of as a kid. And another note for this guy. 2 notes. He briefly ran his own carpet cleaning business in Texas. Briefly.
Specializing in chili stains.
It failed.
Lieutenant Einright, aware of the battle to come, arms himself with 3 chainsaws and finally decides to enlist the help of Stretch in catching the chainsaw killers. By having the DJ play the chainsaw murder recordings on the radio in hopes that it would drum up attention and cooperation from the local PDs. Unbeknownst to the two, the Sawyers themselves are listening as well. Drayton is pissed.
And how the fuck did he afford a car phone? That was my question. This dude must be like a legitimately good businessman.
He had a pimped out food truck. That's for damn sure.
He's got a food truck in the 86. Isn't that like a pretty novel idea?
And then Dennis, when he bought these axes, dude, that was a trippy ass scene. Clearly it wasn't him swinging those axes at the stump on the ground outside of the chainsaw shop.
How horny was that clerk?
He was doing some weird shit,
Watching
man.
him do this shit.
Oh, my aching banana. What the
Oh, my aching
What?
banana. I'm about to shoot some fucking banana pudding all over this
fuck
motherfucker's
was
back.
going on?
God damn.
So confused what was happening.
I don't know what the fuck that was.
He was getting turned on.
I had to write that one down. I've never heard anybody say that.
How he handles a chainsaw is so fucking inaccurate and unsafe.
Oh, he's not chopping wood with his shit. You can tell. This dude was going nuts.
He's using like a damn sword, man.
He's behind him.
My aching banana.
This chainsaw shop had chainsaws fucking everywhere. Hanging from the ceiling, hanging from the floor, hanging from the walls.
I did see some half-ass research that the OG from the first one is hanging up in there, too.
Oh, the pulling. Yeah, the pulling's hanging up.
I have a note about the silver chainsaw, the big one that he picks up. It's about the same damn size as
comically
he
large.
is.
That shit had a 36-inch ball or some shit on there. That thing was massive. Like you were cutting redwoods in fucking California.
So this thing was a Dolmer chainsaw, and it was made for only 2 years, and no one knows what model this was in this film. It's just interesting. Like you literally can't find this anymore.
You know, somebody came in with one of those that size to the pawn shop one day. You know how much those things are worth?
Probably thousands of dollars now.
Like $2,500
Oh my god!
for a fucking chainsaw, bro.
And I think here's kind of when, like, I kind of started to understand the black comedy aspects of it because, like, in the first one, I never looked at the chainsaw as, like, a phallic symbol in that whole movie.
Oh,
But in this movie, like, every time you see it, someone's acting like it's their dick.
oh, you're gonna learn real fucking quick.
I was like, damn, maybe I need to rewatch the first one with this ideology in mind.
I don't feel like he holds it at his penis all the time like he does in this film.
It's
In the
all the
first one.
time. Dennis Hopper does the same shit.
It's just all the time. It's just
It's all like, look how big this motherfucker is. I'm like, God, was I just ignorant watching that first one?
Sometime later, after LG heads out for a cup of joe, Stretch investigates a noise from a back room in the studio and comes face to face with wire hanger enthusiast and Vietnam vet Chop Top. Soon after, little brother Leatherface bursts from a record storage room, chasing the DJ, who barricades herself in a walk-in cooler. Chop Top.
Chop Top.
let's talk about him.
Chop Top. This is the first time you guys ever saw Chop Top, right?
Yes.
What do you think about Chop Top?
He was not what I had anticipated just by hearing that name and I guess imagining what he would be like in a Texas Chainsaw movie.
Me personally, I loved every scene that he was in.
Some of the most quotable lines in the entire movie. Some shit
He
I
said
could definitely see
some funny
myself. Yeah, it's some shit I could definitely see myself saying. Burn it like a rat! Burn it like a rat! Burn it like a rat!
The dog will like got me.
Dog will
Dog
hunt.
will hunt! Get that bitch, Leatherface! Get that bitch! Dog will hunt! Lick my plate! Lick my plate, you dog dick! He's got a fucking plate in his head from when he was in Nam.
No flashbacks.
Oh, dude. Him scratching his fucking head with the goddamn...
And then
him taking the lighter, heating up
Ugh.
the fucking wire hanger, and then scratching his like scab and then eating it. It's like some of the wildest shit.
That was so uncomfortable for me.
He talking about how much he loves the fucking recording that she did. You know, the one she put on the air.
Yeah.
He's mocking it. He's doing the sound effects. What is that from Rambo 3?
I had a fun fact about Mr. Bill Moseley. He was a Deadite captain in Army of Darkness.
It was believed for a while there that he actually played the role of Evil Ash, like when he was all fucked up. Talked about it a little bit earlier. He's in the Rob Zombie Firefly family trilogy, House of a Thousand Corpses, Devil's Rejects, Three from Hell, with the late great Sid Haig. Also played the role of Drayton Sawyer, that we'll talk about one day in 2013's Texas Chainsaw, with Alexandra Diodario.
Oh, Jesus.
Who actually has the most quotable line.
She got some beautiful eyes, bro.
Shit. Is that what you was looking at?
So the special effects director of this movie was Tom Savini, and Bill Moseley was in Tom Savini's directorial debut, the remake of Night of the Living Dead.
How many of those movies are there?
There's a lot. And there's a whole other segment of Return of the Living Dead because they split up, and that's a whole other franchise. And it's
You know what my favorite one is?
What's that? Shaun of the Dead?
The one where the Bing Rames.
Dawn of the Dead? The other remake?
Yeah. I like that.
So many
The one-
remakes.
The one that's got the Johnny Cash shit at the beginning of it. Leatherface in this movie is played by Bill Johnson, best known as the music composer for House of Horrors and its sequel, House of Horrors: The Second Coming, and that is coming spelt like jizz. So,
Nice.
yeah, didn't really care for this guy in this movie. To be honest with you,
I like his dancing.
What'd you think about his mask? That's an important question here. I thought it sucked.
really,
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that bad.
That's kind of calling out Tom Savini if you say it sucks.
That's props, though. It's not special effects, right?
Well, no, he does makeup.
Well, it's a mask, though. It's not makeup.
I don't think it looks that bad. I think he actually, like, the way his teeth are all fucked up and shit.
Yeah.
Like, it all
I don't
comes
mind the
together
look of the
with mask.
person. I'm talking about the mask itself. I don't know.
You say it's a mask, but to be honest with you, that's his fucking face.
The original one was so simple, though. It's like the Michael Myers mask. Like, there's something about the first one.
There's always something about your first, ain't it?
The first one looked more leathery.
Yeah, it
This
looked
one
like organic.
rubbery.
Like, I don't know. It didn't look
So
like
it looked like
a
skin.
toy. It didn't look like some shit I would buy at Spirit Halloween.
Sadly, LG makes his return at the worst possible moment, just in time for a taste of Chop Top's hammer. Leather eventually breaks through an adjacent wall into the cooler, and after some simulated sex with a chainsaw, nutting in his business suit included, Leather does the chainsaw dance, holding the chainsaw above his head and rocking his head back and forth fast as fuck. Had me rolling. Before storming into the studio and destroying it, followed by some chainsaw air homes. Leather lies to his brother about killing the DJ, and the two leave with LG's lifeless body in tow. More meat for the chili. Stretch watches from the balcony as the two leave and takes off in hot pursuit, eventually tailing the unsuspecting cannibals to a defunct carnival/theme park, Texas Battleland.
So, do you think he really cummed his pants?
Oh, he cummed his britchers, for sure.
I think he did too, yeah.
Yeah. He was literally like fucking that cooler. Yeah, he cummed his britchers, bro.
What was going on with like the Sprite and all that shit busting up too? I was trying
It was her squirting.
That's what I was
He
wondering.
was
Is there
doing
something
he
I'm
was
missing?
doing it so good. She was squirting all of them and she's screaming and shit. Ah, fuck me. Oh, God.
Like her legs were soaked with like some Mountain Dew. I'm like, what am I? So what is he trying to tell me here?
They was sticky slick
Yeah.
with Mountain Dew, brother.
I'm always trying to find the deeper meaning here, and I couldn't understand. Maybe it was a capitalism thing.
Oh, God, you were getting way too deep about goddamn Texas, too.
I'm with Chris on this, though, Joy. I was confused as hell as well. I'm
I
right
think
with
everybody's
Chris.
confused about this. He literally stuck his little chainsaw in there and was like fucking the chainsaw into the cooler for a good like 2 minutes. And he's looking up at her while he's doing it, and she's
Yeah.
just screaming.
And it's ruining the
She's
chainsaw.
screaming and he's screaming.
I couldn't tell if he was cranking it. He felt like he's cranking it, but
It's pretty much looking at like, hey, you like this shit?
he
You
reaches
like this?
down
Let me
to
get
crank
this.
it again, and then she's like, that's when she starts kind of getting uncomfortable. But she does like this. Jason Voorhees' mom talked to him about being good. That makes him come, I guess.
She kept saying, "Are you good?" And he said, "Hell, fucking yeah, brother, I'm good. Let me watch this." He said, "I'm gonna show you how good I am." Went in there and just started chopping up everything. I'm good as fuck with this chainsaw, girl.
Her ability to normalize the situation to make it sexual was weird.
The dialogue was just weird.
That was a defense mechanism. I don't think there was anything her trying to be sexual. She's trying to disarm him and make her seem like someone he doesn't want to kill.
Yeah.
If somebody's coming at you charging with a chainsaw, you're gonna do whatever you fuck you can.
I mean, I agree. I understand what he was going for, but it was the words she used in particular were fucking weird.
Are you good? And he said, he started licking his lips and shit and doing his teeth.
It's so good.
Then he took
the
bar.
teeth thing.
He took the
Guys,
bar and the
they got-
chain and started rubbing it against her fucking leg and then her pussy crotch. And he just kept doing it up and down. That shit was wild.
He did a little fucking dance.
Then he did his, all right, I just conned my britches dance. And he fucking started dancing like this right here.
I was wondering if that was like standard. I need to like work on my,
Dude,
my
the
version of that.
After he busted up the fucking studio and came back in there and he did the damn chainsaw with his dick and he started humping the air with it. I fucking lost it, man. I turned this shit off for the night. Like I turned this off and said,
I'm
I'll
gonna go
take care of
jerk
this
off. I'm
tomorrow.
going to sleep.
He was thrusting with the
Yeah,
chainsaw in the air.
he's like, all right, I showed you how good I am, bitch. I'm gonna thrust. 3-pump chump.
He was flirting. It was flirtatious.
Yeah, I was very flirtatious.
Quite a
But the
cat
whole
mouse
thing is
there.
he's wearing a business suit the whole fucking time.
It's bizarre.
It's fantastic. I love
It's
it.
bizarre.
Now on foot, Stretch stalks the brothers until she realizes she has a pursuer of her own, Lefty. Before the pair can reunite and take on the psychos, the DJ takes a tumble down a trapdoor. Lefty arms himself with his 3 chainsaws and heads into the closest attraction, tearing down pillars and support beams as he goes. Stretch wakes and finds herself surrounded by dismembered limbs and lifeless bodies, by viscera and gore. The Sawyer Chop House. She listens in horror as Leatherface butchers LG's body, only to be discovered soon after. Before he can deliver a killing blow, Stretch soothes the savage beast, a la the Goonies, except instead of a candy bar, she offers up more sweet, sweet chainsaw poon. Before Leather can make his move, they feel the building shift with the destruction from Lefty above. Stretch is bound in rope and the sadist leaves her inside the meat locker. A groan from the corner takes Stretch off guard, and the mutilated body of LG springs back to life, faceless and partially skinned. He cuts Stretch free of her bindings and dies, this time for reals.
LG, life's good. This dude had
Life's
the
good,
worst
baby.
fucking day of all time. It's like
It's
one of
so
those
wild.
Austin Powers bits. Like, why won't you die?
I left out an important piece of this. I know I described that LG was faceless. I guess in order for
What the fuck was that about?
Leatherface to get even hornier, he took LG's face, put it on Stretch, put his cowboy hat on her as well, picked her up and made her start dancing.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That was fucking wild.
What was going on there?
I guess that's his courting method. He could dance like hell. Did you see him spin her around?
Yeah, he was going pretty fucking hard. I'm
she-
surprised she didn't vomit. It made me dizzy.
I thought that the mask he put on her looked great. It was gooey. It was wet.
Yeah, that was definitely
Very nice.
Savini special there.
What do you think was wetter, the mask or her pussy?
I would hope the mask, but I could be wrong.
Sounds like you while you were watching the fucking movie, brother.
Hey, this was the most sensual horror movie I've ever seen. But yeah, it's pretty cool too how they establish early in the movie, and it's really fucking gross. LG likes to just spit in random spots.
Yeah.
Like he's literally spitting. He's not chewing tobacco. He's literally fucking hawking lugs and spitting them all over the studio.
That's one of my pet peeves of people who spit for no reason. It's fucking disgusting to me.
Yeah, it's fucking whack. But at this point, she doesn't know it's LG's body that's in the corner. It's not. She doesn't even know that it's LG's face that she's wearing. LG gets up moaning in pain and just you can. The makeup here is fucking gorgeous. It's so good. This is Savini at like some of his best shit. He hawks a loogie. when he stands up, and then she knows it's LG because of that.
That dirty bastard, he's here.
It's so good.
She said, "Damn, they got you too, LG." What'd you think about when he actually croaks and she tells him she loves him?
I think it was just like more of a fatherly love or brotherly love. I don't think she was trying to fuck LG. She could have fucked LG a long time ago.
I had the feeling like he wanted to,
Oh yeah, LG wanted to hit it.
It's like every dude in this movie is like kind of trying to bang her. That makes her.
I can't tell. She's hot.
I like her voice a lot.
Yes.
I like her. Like,
I would say
cadence.
yes.
She's got them short shorts. That shit's hot as fuck.
As LG dies, he just says, "Ah, shit,"
Oh shit, that was a good way to go.
and that's it.
He went out a damn hero. Heroes.
He went
fucking
out
salute.
like a Texan. That's what a Texan would do. Also, one of the best lines from Chop Top right here, when they're slicing up OLG to make some stew. Peel that pig and slice him thick. I fucking love that shit. That was
Put
great.
that down there.
I feel like this
That was
dude
good.
just like wrote his own dialogue. He seemed to be so in touch with his character.
Can we do a little bit of a sidebar here and talk about Lefty? You first meet him, and he's a cop, and he's like trying to solve a murder.
He wants
And
revenge
then
for his.
He wants revenge. He meets Stretch in his hotel room, and he's like a normal guy. He does like a weird thing with his left hand, which is like a masturbating thing, I believe. And then he goes into the funhouse here and like start talking about Jesus, and he starts sawing down columns and
It's the
shit.
devil's playground.
Oh, he's literally chopping down every beam he can come across. It takes a while, I guess.
Is it a suicide mission? Is that the whole point of this?
Oh, I think he's been searching for these people for 13 years. So this is the culmination of all that work, and no one believes him. He's in this alone. At this point, I think it's said earlier in the movie that he's willing to die over this.
Oh yeah, he's like selling off his only way out. This is a suicide for him.
So he's lost his damn mind, basically.
Once he pulls out the dual chainsaws, I'm like, this dude's lost his fucking mind. Like any normal lawman is just gonna take his gun down there and do it, you know. But this dude's fucking insane.
Pillar after pillar, beam after beam, the former Texas Ranger continues his path of destruction, only stopped by the gruesome discovery of his nephew Franklin, corpseified and skeletonized in his wheelchair, flashlight still in hand. In a fit of rage, Lefty saws even faster, debris raining down quicker still. Meanwhile, Stretch makes her escape, but is eventually cornered by the Sawyers as the corridors crumble around them. Leatherface, crushing hard on the DJ, can't bring himself to kill her, so Chop Top knocks her out, and the trio bring her to the dinner table for some supper. And supper in the Sawyer family means feeding Grandpa. After a few whacks from Grandpa's hammer, Stretch is knocked out cold, and just as the four cannibals begin to celebrate, Lefty and his weapons of chaos burst into their bone sanctuary. Franklin, 13 years later, I need some of them batteries, because them batteries are still working in that goddamn flashlight.
How are they gonna beat the shit out of this poor guy for 80 minutes in the last movie and then still bring his ass back as a cameo 13 years later? Just let him fucking rest.
Why did they bring his body? Because this is not close to the house, supposedly. That's
Yeah, the
why-
house is gone. Yeah,
They
Lefty-
put him all in the damn truck, man. They're a mobile operation now.
So they put his ass in the truck on the wheelchair as well?
That was cooked meat, bro. What are you talking about?
You know what they should have done instead of having that flashlight in his hand? Have that fucking sausage in his mouth. Yeah, that big ass lump of sausage. That's another weird thing about this whole situation. Like, I love this set piece. I love the whole
The caves.
Adventureland, whatever bullshit. I don't think it's established concretely. However, it is strongly insinuated that Nubbins, a.k.a. the hitchhiker, is the one who robs the graves, does all this bone art that you see all over the house in the original. This fucking place is covered in bone art and just bone shit everywhere. Like, some pretty intricate designs. Nubbins been dead for 13 years. Who was responsible for the bone art?
Was Chop Top considered to be his twin brother or some shit?
Yeah, it's his twin brother. I mean, I guess he can be artistic about it.
Yeah, maybe he I don't know, picked up. They've been down there for 13 years with nothing else to do. So
The skeleton that he dances with is Nubbins?
Yeah.
On the truck?
that's his
I
twin
did not
brother.
put that together.
Yeah, that corpse. Yeah, he's wearing the same clothes as Nubbins was in the original, like the
Okay.
camouflage shit. That, and then a little bit later in the movie, Drayton actually refers to him as Nubbins.
Chop Top, when Leatherface can't kill Stretch, says, Bubba's got a girlfriend.
Some of that SCEX, sex. He says you got two choices. You got sex, no one knows where that could go. Or you got the saw, and the saw is family. Damn cook, man, that dude was on fire.
He refers to sex as the old cock and cunt swindle. Fucking say that shit.
The old CNCS.
And then the first interaction right here between Drayton and Lefty. At this point, Lefty's, he's all fire and brimstone. He's, rah rah Jesus, rah rah God. Drayton pretty much says, for the most part, who are you? He says, I'm the Lord of the Harvest.
Oh, God.
Drayton says, who's that? Some new health food bunch?
Yeah, and again, kind of going back to like what themes Toby was going for here. He like pulls out his wallet to like pay this guy off. And this whole time he's been talking about the small businessman paying taxes, getting fucked over. Like his solution is not to fight this guy or whatever. It's just like, let me just pay this fucking guy off.
Sawyer Drayton says that Grandpa is 137 years old. Says it flatline. It was not a joke. And then he's still being promoted as a good old one-hitter.
Fucking legend with the sledge.
Oh, he was a one-hitter in the first one, apparently. And it was way worse back then. He had no strength in his arm back then.
He's been eating good the last 13 years. He looked better
been eating
now
on
than
Franklin's
he did then.
big ass for 13 years, and then he got strong as shit.
Savini did say that this is like the most proud makeup he's ever done. Was aging
Oh,
up
it's
this
really,
guy.
really fucking good, man.
Making
it's
this
really
young
good.
guy look like an old man.
I mean, he just genuinely looked like a very, very old man. There was nothing crazy in terms of blood or any of that shit. It looked like an old man.
Yeah, and they push him pretty close on his face when he's doing like the head whacking and stuff, and really can't see the creases. It looks like just some creepy old fucker.
Lefty chainsaws Drayton up the ass, who scurries away, hiding under the dinner table. Stretch comes to, and as she escapes, Lieutenant Einright and Leatherface face off in a chainsaw duel atop that same table. Chop Top takes off after the DJ, who narrowly avoids capture. Before long, Lefty gets the upper hand, burying one of the chainsaws in Leather's gut, while Drayton pulls the pin on a grenade from Nubbins. At this point, Nubbins is all he is a tableside corpse. Grandpa tries to help out his grandson, Leather, but only manages to fuck things up, hitting him in the head with the hammer, causing him to drop his chainsaw, which in turn cuts through the table into Drayton, who drops the grenade, presumably blows the four away. Conveniently. Like, it's open-ended as fuck.
None of that is shown, right? Yeah. It was kind of odd when it cut from the character down there. I think the last thing we see is like Dennis Hopper is like triumphant holding up his chainsaws. And it cuts away and we never go back to him again.
Yeah, that's, for me, that's one of the negatives about the movie, is the fact that it's so open-ended. I mean, I get it if you want to leave it open-ended for a third, a third movie in the franchise, but still, open-ended shit like that just drives me bananas.
I thought the chainsaw battle was actually pretty good.
Yeah, it was fucking cool. Like when he drove the big one into his gut and he pulled out the two smaller ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fucking dope. During the mayhem below, Stretch manages to electrocute Chop Top long enough to find an exit to a tower above the park. Chop Top regains his composure, pursuing the girl onwards and upwards, slashing at her heels with a razor. Eventually, the two reach the top, where the DJ finds the mummified remains of Grandma Sawyer and her chainsaw. Relieving the old bag of the relic, she eventually is able to start it, but not before Chop carves her back up with that same razor. She buries the saw into the vet's guts, causing him to fall back down into the horror land below. The lone survivor dances maniacally with the saw, driven mad by carnage and terror. So ends Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
So how much did that mom look like in Morton Joe from Mad Max Fury Road?
They had the same titties.
I liked how when she ripped this saw out, he said, "You killed her, you bitch."
It was weird because her fucking head was moving. Obviously, she's fucking dead.
Oh, Grandpa's still alive, apparently. So
Yeah, 137 years old.
137, still kicking.
Let's talk about that chainsaw. Still got gas in it.
That thing's fucking preserved all these years.
Hey, they don't make them like they used to, brother.
Apparently not.
So I was thinking back to like the first one, how Leatherface kind of becomes like feminized towards the end of the movie, and I think we all kind of debated whether that was like him becoming like the matriarch of the family, because there's no mother figure there. And then here we see the mom, and she like fucking is buried with a chainsaw. So I wonder if that was like her job before Leatherface came along, or she got too old for it.
Oh, they've always been in meat, brother.
You needed somebody to chainsaw motherfuckers up, right?
Always been in meat.
I want the prequel of like Megan Fox being the killer of this family wielding a chainsaw.
Yeah. Just breastfeeding little Leatherface and cutting the motherfucker with a chainsaw.
She did the dance from the first movie at the end too. Did you notice that?
The leather saw.
Like when she was on top of the structure. Like it kind of makes you think, hey, she might be inheriting. She might be the next Leatherface.
I think the whole idea was that since the original Texas Chainsaw had happened, like it says in that beginning crawl, that like the world has decayed since then. So like we saw the Texas Chainsaw Massacre happen. We didn't do anything about it. So we kind of become the villains ourselves. Like the inactions of good men is worse than the actions of evil men.
I wonder what kind of conversations you would have if you had like a co-host who had like 2 fucking brain cells to put together. Like I wonder what kind of
Anyway, you were
intellectual
talking about
shit
some dicks and farts
y'all would
again.
actually fucking talk about.
But I will say, going back to like just pure visceral, something anybody could see. When they first came out of the tunnel into the light, like when it was really bright and he was chasing her, it was something about it that, I don't know, it's kind of beautifully shot in a way to be as gross as it was.
Oh, the cinematography in this movie is fucking dope.
Yeah, but for me in particular, once they get out of the tunnel, it becomes
You're talking about it has some sort of like visual meaning.
like a familiarity. Yeah, like it took me back to the first movie for 5 minutes. Because that, like, think of like a hot Texas sun, you know, and like how the first movie ends with the sun coming up and all that good stuff.
Oh, don't you think the Texas flag on top of that thing was an accident?
Fucking is it an Alamo recreation type thing? Is that what it's supposed to be?
Yeah, I think it's called Texas Battleland or some shit. So
Yeah.
I guess it's like all the wars and stuff that Texas was involved in, or all the battles.
So that's like a putt-putt course full of fucking Texas battlements with all this tunneling underneath it, I guess.
But that's also to talk about your deep meaning in this film. Malls and amusement parks were just the thing in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah. And they get criticized a lot in horror movies. You think about like Dawn of the Dead, like that's very famous for you set it in a mall to kind of make fun of these people for the zombification of capitalism, you know. This is an anti-automation movie because the whole fucking thing is like we got to do shit the old way. Violent men, there was a time for violent men that doesn't exist anymore. It's kind of what they're like alluding to during Grandpa's whole speech. For the second movie in a row, Toby's just hammering that shit into your head. These people would have been normal 100 years ago.
I wonder how I would have done 100 years ago.
You wouldn't be chugging fucking Mountain Dew or Monster Energy drinks.
You wouldn't be going to KFC and McDonald's in the same day. Maybe one a day.
You'd be getting up at 2 o'clock to milk the cows and shit.
I feel like I'd be living under a bridge or some shit. I would be at the sewer. I'd just be waiting for shit to come down there.
All right, boys, you see the Texas sun just dropping on the horizon over there. So
Hot as fuck. You talking about hot?
take another year and we'll be right back at her. What piece of memorabilia you boys bringing home from part 2 TCM franchise from Mr. Toby Hooper?
Those glasses Rick the Prick wears in the beginning of the movie.
Odd visuals.
Pussy would rain from the heavens into my lap
Lord.
if I was rocking those specs.
For me, it's going to be the silver chainsaw. The thing was only made for 2 years, and nobody even knows what fucking model it is. So I feel like walking across this in like an old antique store that sells chainsaws for some reason would be pretty awesome.
For me, it's that trophy, man, filled with that fucking dripping chili running down his fucking t-shirt. That's what it's going to remind me of this movie more than anything else in this franchise would.
Because that was on the table at the end of the movie.
Yeah, I saw that. He had it set up right beside where he was eating dinner.
He was very proud of his trophy.
The fact that they had to put chili inside the trophy was a little weird.
Hey, don't get no more Texas than that, buddy.
I just love the fact that he was hugging it to his fucking dress shirt and didn't give a fuck that it was running down it. That's this whole fucking movie in one image. All right, boys, grade book's out. It's time to be professorial. Kind of let it grades. Are we sending Mr. Hooper off into the sunset with
Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 from 1986 was a blind spot for me until this show. The franchise has never really appealed to me, I guess maybe because I've never been to South Texas, so maybe I don't really get the full aura of South Texas. Tobe Hooper could have played it safe and made yet another version of the first film that fans probably would have bought initially at the box office because this only made $8 million. However, I have to give him respect for going outside of the box on his second installment of the franchise. With that being said, the Dennis Hopper character seemed all over the place with his motives and overall ideology. If you like horror with a splash of dark comedy in the same light as Reanimator or Return of the Living Dead, I would recommend this film and possibly a rewatch if you've stepped away for a long time. But with that being said, I sadly give it a C+.
Set mine up here with a quote that I read just digging around the internet about the movie. Critical of how audiences didn't pick up on the dark humor of the original, Hooper decided to double down on comedic elements. I feel like that's pretty important, kind of forming your opinion around this movie. This is a gonzo movie, conceived to slap the audience over the face with a message that seemed lost in the terror of the original. At the time of its release, we had a handful of the other major horror franchises doing what they do, serving up fresh bodies with no real differences between entries. This sequel is unique in that way. It presents a retelling, essentially, of its predecessor in a completely different tone. The black comedy is there, and I can see and appreciate that. But my issue, honestly, just arises from personal preference. I'd simply enjoy the way that the original story is presented. Without taking up this podcast and researching filmmakers' intentions, I do not doubt that the message of the original would not be as concrete in my mind as it is. I commend Tobe Hooper for leaning into his own gag and doing what creatives do, getting your vision out of your head and into the world. For that, this movie I did not go bananas for. Does get a bump. However, scanning over the franchise, which includes several, I have to underline the word here, several, quote-unquote, direct sequels to just the original, I'm honestly left to wonder if there's any more story to be told with these characters. The jokes and the atmosphere are unique, and for the laughs, TCM Part 2 is marked a C. Don't skimp on the meat.
So it would be really, really easy to just shit all over Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, to just disregard it for the piece of dry dog turd it comes off as to most. Especially considering what this movie is the sequel to. I think each and every person who's a fan of the original, or even a fan of horror in general, who detests or has a negative opinion about Massacre 2, I think they're entirely justified. With that said, this is a fun and entertaining movie, man. It's such a departure from the original. It's kind of shocking that it comes from the same director as the original, Tobe Hooper. And that departure, that wasn't coincidental. It feels like that's exactly what Hooper was going for. It's definitely a product as well as a parody of the 80s, and almost like it's a parody of the original Massacre itself. So, to me, the biggest draw of the movie is Bill Moseley. I've said it a few times on several other episodes of the podcast, but Chop Top is such a wild, fun, memorable character, and Bill Moseley in the role makes this movie worth watching alone. He steals every scene he's in, and the character as well as the actor are super underrated in my opinion. Dennis Hopper as Lefty, an unhinged chainsaw-wielding Texas Ranger. You can tell he took his role seriously and made the character his own, even though the movie doesn't take itself seriously at all. I love the set design, especially that of the abandoned carnival, the same way I loved it in Terrifier 2. Tom Savini, once again, chef's kiss. Great cinematography, love the gore, some dope-ass songs. No One Lives Forever by Ongo Bongo, for example. However, not the biggest fan of Bill Johnson's Leatherface. I understand for a movie this tone, you don't have much room to build a character with any complexity, but at least I felt like there was some depth with Gunnar Hansen's portrayal. Also, Rick and Buzz are some of the most annoying characters I've ever had the misfortune to watch on any media platform. I guess they do what they're supposed to go ahead and put the audience in the headspace that this isn't going to be like the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, but holy hell, those first 10 minutes are grating. Another hang-up for me, I wish Hooper would have at least tried to do something more unique with the dinner scene. In the original, that scene was gut-wrenching. It was terrifying, hands down one of the most iconic scenes in horror, period. The same scene in Massacre 2, it just comes off as lazy and redundant. Hell, if you wanted to keep the morbid humor going, have Grandpa do a fucking elbow drop off the dinner table like Randy Savage onto the back of Carolyn Williams' head. I mean, sure, it would have been outlandish, but at least it would have been new and fresh, albeit ridiculous, which is kind of the point of the movie in general. Like I said and have said in the past about several other movies, Massacre 2, it isn't for everyone, but the people that it is for, y'all are going to dig it. 1986's Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 grades out with a B.
Alright, let's recap some fan scores here. This was for no dice, but we took our time guessing it anyway. Joey thought it was a 50. I said a 45. Hootie, a 38. Actual audience score was a motherfucking 44.
Damn.
So we were all kind of in the ballpark, but
Yeah, we're all in the ballpark.
I about nailed that sumbitch.
But guess what? Don't fucking matter, boys.
Waka waka. So yeah, back to your regularly scheduled program. We were coming off a victory by Mr. Joseph, so he gets to hop in the old driver's seat for the second time in a row with his choice for what we will watch next.
Once again, we back at it, boys. Well, I'm going to keep this short and sweet. It's been over 2 years since we talked about them. So let's give the little guys due. 1990s Child's Play 2, The Chuckster's back, baby.
Chucky.
Like, oh, hook 'em horns, baby.
Fuck yeah.
Cue up your ghetto boys.
All right, folks, we're going to hop on YouTube and watch the official trailer for Child's Play Part 2 from 1990. Let's go. Rated R. Oh, shit.
75th anniversary, Universal.
What was that?
Why is that such a scary sound in the fucking dark, dude?
It is fucking creepy.
Holy shit, that's creepy as fuck. I need to turn the light on.
Like, that's a badass fucking Jack in the Box.
That is pretty intricate.
I would
Like
buy
Bob the
that.
Builder.
I already got my fucking memorabilia set.
Y'all don't remember the cover for
Chucky's back.
That was
Yeah.
badass.
How's it hanging, Phil?
These fucking one-liners are so good, dude.
It's a fucking teacher from Donnie Darko.
He is whooping ass in this movie.
He's the original. He'll take your breath away.
This is fucking voiceover.
Chucky rules.
Did you miss me, Andy? I sure missed you.
Child's Play 2. Keep an eye out for it.
What a trailer.
Who
Shit.
has the better one-liners? Fucking Chucky
shit.
or Freddy?
Coming soon to a theater near you.
I'm partial to Chucky myself.
Yeah, I'm gonna lean Chucky.
I was going to go Freddy, but damn, that was awesome.
Yeah, so Joey is abstaining here just between you and me, Mr. Hootie. What is that Rotten Tomatoes fan score? I hate odd numbers, but I'm going to say 53.
I'm going 62.
Alrighty, folks, thank you all for listening. Check out the website, horriblefilmschool.com, to find links to all the podcast platforms and the social stuffs. Give us a follow, leave a review, send us your best hot chili bowls. I'm going to say goodbye and offer my support to women DJing their way through the wild Texas heat.
Shout out Dallas-Fort Worth radio stations. As always, if you're hearing our voices, tell at least one person you know. Spread the love. Spread the campaign. And I'm going to go hang out with Chucky again. I'm excited about this, fellas. And I'm out.
Thanks for all the likes, the subs, the listens, the follows, the downloads. We really appreciate you guys and gals' support, as well as your time and attention. Be sure to join us in the next one when we play Hide the Soul in 1990's Child's Play 2. Class dismissed.